When designing data security for Azure workloads, particularly with services like Azure SQL Database, Azure SQL Managed Instance, and Azure Synapse Analytics, the approach you take should be comprehensive, covering multiple layers of defense. On the screen, you can see the diagram in which SQL workload is sitting at the center. Let's discuss the security layer that you can think of using for securing the data tier, which is SQL in this case, of your applications. First layer is network security. Think of network security as the first line of defense that keeps unwanted visitors out of your data. You wouldn't leave your front door wide open, right? The same goes for your network. Azure helps you by using firewalls that block network access until you say who can get in. For example, you can set rules that allow access only from certain IP addresses or from specific virtual networks within Azure. This way, only trusted sources can talk to your databases. Second layer is access management. This is like showing your ID before entering a secure area. Azure offers two main types. SQL authentication means you can use username and password just like logging into your email. Or Microsoft Entra authentication. And this is more advanced and ties with your organization's identity management, which makes it easier to control who has access across all your Azure services. For authorization, once someone is in, you need to control what they can do. Imagine giving different keys to different employees. Some can only open certain doors. In Azure, you can assign roles that limit what users can do in your database, which will help you enforcing the principle of least privilege. Third layer is threat protection. SQL auditing feature is like having security cameras in place. It records what's happening in your databases so you can review it later if something seems up. This helps you stay compliant with security standards. Advanced threat protection in Azure SQL. Think of this as an alert system that warns you if someone trying to break in. Azure analyzes your database activities and sends alerts if it detects anything suspicious, like attempts to access data in unusual ways or from unknown locations. Fourth layer is information protection and encryption. Just like you would want a secure envelope for sending sensitive mail, encryption in transit ensures that your data is protected as it travels from one place to another. Azure enforces encryption for all connections for SQL databases and makes sure data is safe even when it is on the move. Transparent data encryption, which is encryption at rest feature of the database, locks your data when it's stored. So, if someone were to physically steal the storage media, they wouldn't read the data without the encryption keys. Azure handles this by default. But if you want more control, you can manage the encryption keys yourself using Azure Key Vault. Always encrypted feature ensures that even if someone has access to your database, they can't see the most sensitive data unless they have the correct key. It's specifically useful for protecting things like credit card numbers or personal identification numbers. This feature is like a vault within a vault. Dynamic data masking feature is like putting a privacy screen on your computer monitor. Users who don't need to see sensitive data get a masked version instead. For example, they might see just the last 4 digits of a credit card numbers instead of the whole thing. For security management, vulnerability assessment tool scans your database to find any weaknesses and helps you fix them before they become a problem. For compliance, Azure SQL Database and other services undergo regular audits and certifications to ensure they meet industry standards for security. You can rely on these certifications to help your organization meet regulatory requirements. By following these layered security practices, you are not just adding logs to your data, you are building a secure, well-monitored environment that protects your valuable information at every step in SQL database workload.